here's my question, because of course, as I say, from my observation is that the people, ordinary people, are suffering in both communities. We are entering fourth month of this crisis. Civilians should not have arms, farmers should not carry guns, students should not carry guns, police armories should not be looted. Now my question to you is, if the division is so deep, do you believe a separate administration, as the Kuki people are asking for, is inevitable as a means to proceed ahead? Is that the solution?
No, it is not. We have lived together for centuries as one. We have worked together, lived together. We have joined their festival. They have joined our festival. There was no difference from our side. From none of us had any kind of a difference with them. It is that something happened on that day because some leaders orchestrated something for their vested agenda at some point of time. We as people, as Meiteis and Kukis, I'm saying it again, there are people who are calling up on mobile phones asking for the halchal of their counterparts in Kuki area. Right? To the common people, there is no difference even now. We still say that we were there together for centuries, living as one people, and there is no difference now also. The only problem is some leaders on that side, and perhaps the government on this side, they are not seeing eye to what's happening, right? And if it helps you in your analysis, there is something called Kuki homeland, which they have with the Kuki Chin people have been striving for the last 3 to 4 decades minimum, right? That is something that Kuki homeland is a something in the psyche, deep-seated psyche of the Kuki people. That's okay, perfectly fine. That's all right. But my point of saying is that now, if we are to live together, then the militancy has to stop, right? And it is not difficult. I still say the issue is between the Kuki militants and the government of Manipur. The public has no role anywhere as such. So my suggestion, whether people like it or not, is that when ITLF leaders were called on 5th of this month to MHA, and they had a talk with the Honorable Home Minister Amit Shahji, he told them not to carry out burial in the site where they were planning to carry out burial, and they listened. If Amit Shah can tell them to not do something and they're listening to it, why can't he tell his Kuki militants who are under suspension operation to abjure violence? Go back to your camp, take your weapons back. And once the threat of the gun-wielding people from the hills stop, these people who have grabbed their arms, they'll return it to the state.
Okay,
the weapon on this side is redundant. Let
me ask you this. It's a very polarizing conversation. We speak to someone from the Kuki community. They have as much passion and force with very different set of arguments. Let me ask you this. If you had 2 minutes with the Prime Minister, you said you're waiting for him to give concrete solutions. If you had 2 minutes with the Prime Minister face to face, what would you say to him?
I'll ask him to stop the violence.
How?
That's one thing. That's what I just said. The Sioux people who are armed and living in the bunkers, waiting to shoot on this side. If they are told to go back to their barracks, if the threat of the guns being fired from the hills to the valley is not there anymore, there is no reason for why should anybody go and grab a weapon from a police station. So all these weapons on the valley side will become redundant. I'll say that again. The weapons taken out from the police station will become redundant, and they will gladly return it back to the police wherever they have got it from the police station.
Do you think the Meitei community will welcome back the Kuki people into Imphal? There's a problem, right? You know that the tribals can't enter the non-tribal areas, the non-tribals can't enter the tribal areas. Both sides believe if we go into the other's territory, we'll be killed.
That's why I said in the beginning, in the beginning of this, when you talked about peace, I said the peace is temporary through the barrel of the gun. The peace has to come between the two people, communities, the Meiteis and the Kukis. It has to come from them. So you made a point that they are afraid of coming this side, and the Meiteis are afraid of going towards the Kuki area.
Yes.
So this has to be, the hurt feeling on both sides has to be assuaged by someone at some point of time. Until that is assured, no amount of peace brought by 36,000 Central Paramilitary Force and the army is going to work out. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Can you say what's going to happen tonight? I don't know. Nobody knows. Somebody does a spark somewhere and hell will be let loose. Maybe today, tomorrow, day after, a few days hence. Because that healing process of the feelings from both sides is not there. That has to be done by the Prime Minister, if not the Home Minister. I'll say that. When there are two warring factions, you call the warring factions, the third person should mediate, and the Prime Minister or the Home Minister are the best people on the job. They should call the people from this side and those people who matter and say, you stop this nonsense, and first let there be peace. And since every demand is a constitutional demand which can be worked out and which has to be worked out across the table, so please bring peace as the first step towards settling any issue constitutionally or otherwise.
Yeah,
So
I think
bring peace first.
I think we can end on that note of agreement. That's something I think both communities would agree on. The Prime Minister's initiative is needed. The Prime Minister's involvement is needed. The Prime Minister's convening power is needed at this point, and that is one thing the Meiteis and the Kuki people do agree on. That we
Everyone,
need.
the Meitei and we both.
Yes,
But that
exactly.
is subject to the Prime Minister taking interest and not showing the indifference that he has been showing till date for the last 3 months. I'm saying that I mean it. As a Prime Minister, he should have done it on the first few days of the issue, not after 3 months when he's called in the Parliament for some excuse of no confidence motion. That is subject to the Prime Minister having some interest to this region, and he shows it physically to the people. Yes, you mean something to me, and I'm going to do this for you.
I hope that intervention comes now, though you have said that you would have wanted it to come earlier. Colonel Singh, thank you. Colonel Singh is the working president of a panel to ask for scheduled tribe status for the Meiteis people. He's a military veteran, but also a prominent community leader from the Meiteis community in Manipur. Thank you, sir, for talking to us, and stay safe. Thank you.